Get those feet pigeon-toed with a fist width in between the big toes. Curl the fingertips to the finger pads, open palm, pin the shoulders down and back. And to start out, you can just hold that position. Keep those shoulder blades down and back, elbows straight, wrists straight, open palm, palms facing down. You'll notice that this is a little bit of work. Eventually, we're going to work up to circles. If you look down your arm, you want to see that it's right, your wrist is right in line with the shoulder. And if that's easy, you can go ahead and do a couple circles, up and forwards. Again, half the circle in front of your body, half the circle behind your body, keeping those shoulder blades pinched. And then go palms up, so your thumbs are going to point behind. Again, wrist right in line with shoulder. And just hold it. And if that's easy, again, you can do circles. This time it's up and backwards. But if not, just hang out in that starting position. Little by little, you'll be able to add time onto this or add circles onto this. Make sure you're breathing, belly relaxed. Grab that roll of toilet paper that everyone is hoarding at home and get your legs on something at a 90-degree angle. Use a pillow or a blanket underneath them or a towel to get that nice 90 degrees, your butt all the way up to whatever surface you're using. Palms up, hands nice and relaxed. Breathing, and you're squeezing the roll of toilet paper using your inner thigh muscles and releasing. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. About 30 or 40% effort. Go ahead and take a break. And get back to it. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Eventually you should feel some work inner thigh. You want your abdominal muscles nice and relaxed. You want your low back muscles nice and relaxed. If you're feeling those helping out, squeeze less. So you might even be doing a 10% squeeze, and that's okay in the beginning. More is not better with the majority of these exercises. More effort. We want to wake up certain muscles. We don't want to wake up every muscle. Taking another break. Take a breath. Put that off to the side. We're going to do foot circles. With that right foot and ankle, you're making big circles going out, involving the toes. Eventually, you should feel a nice burn in the top of that shin, top of the foot, ankle area. Circling inwards now. See what shape your foot is making. Is it a circle? Is it a triangle? Is it a square? Is it easier going out than it is in? Point and flexes now, pointing the toes like a gymnast, pulling them back towards your shins. Breathing. The more you involve the toes in this exercise, the more you will feel this exercise. Onto the left foot, circling out first. See what shape it's doing on this left foot. Is it easier or harder than the right foot? Is your upper body staying relaxed? Are you breathing? Or are you clenching your jaw? Relax those shoulders. Circling inwards now. Again, you're involving the toes. See what shape this foot is making on the inward circles. Is it easier going out or easier going in? Make sure you're breathing. And point and flexes. Pull those toes back, point them like a gymnast. Pull that pinky toe back just as much as that big toe. And again, make sure you're involving the toes, and you're going to feel this exercise even more. Breathing, upper body relaxed. Abdominal work. For this, you're going to inhale, exhale out all the air. And at the very end of the exhale, you're going to tighten your abs, like you were going to flex if someone was going to punch you. So inhale, exhale out all the air, and tighten those abdominals. You should be able to kind of feel that whole abdominal area tighten if you tap it with your fingers. You should feel your low back flatten into the floor when you tighten. If that's easy, go ahead and interlace your hands behind your head. Pick a spot behind you on the ceiling, and you don't want to lose sight of that spot. And we're going to do small abdominal crunches where you're lifting your shoulder blades about 2 inches off the ground. The important thing with this one is head and elbows hit the ground at the same time. You want your neck and shoulders relaxed, and think all the work is coming from that abdominal area. If you lose sight of that spot behind you on the ceiling, you are crunching up too high. Again, do a little check, see if that head and elbows are hitting the ground at the same time. Nice work. Arms out straight, shoulders down and back, and we're going to slowly, using the muscles in the front of the hip, lift our knee right in line with our shoulder. You want to look down at your feet and make sure those toes are pointed straight forward, so that'll be slightly pigeon-toed for most of us in order to get them nice and straight. Here's a look from the side view. Nice and slow and controlled. If this workout is really easy for you, try one of the first or second straighten videos that I have. If this video is still a little bit hard, let me know and I can make an easier one. And you can also modify the sets and reps and time for all of these exercises. Awesome job. Grabbing that roll of toilet paper, tube going across the knees, knees bent, feet flat. Palms are facing towards the ceiling, arms nice and relaxed. And you're going to drive your hips up towards the ceiling and lower the hips to the ground. Up towards the ceiling, down to the ground. This exercise looks easy, but it can be surprisingly challenging as we do a couple sets. Upper body relaxed, feet relaxed, and all of that motion is coming from the hips. I would rather have you do less of these with a nice, comfortable range of motion than trying to do as many as are in the video. Make sure you're breathing and apply just gentle pressure onto that roll of toilet paper. Your feet should be straight for this exercise as well, about a fist width in between those big toes again. Nice work, we're almost done. You should start to feel some work in that hip, glute area. Setting that off to the sides, we're going to bring our elbows right underneath our shoulders and come into a plank on our knees. That's option 1. Option 2 is tucking those toes under and coming into a full plank on our elbows. Thigh muscles are tight in this position, and you don't want to let your hips drop towards the ground. So my shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle are in a nice straight line. And again, it doesn't matter if you do this for 3 seconds, if you're just getting into that position, or if you're doing this on your knees. The goal is to start somewhere and just slowly build up from that. Great job. Making your way onto your elbows, you're going to have your feet hip width apart again, and toes pulled back, and you're lifting your hips up towards the ceiling. Elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Pull those toes back and tighten those thigh muscles as you drive your hips up. Nice work. Taking a break if you need to, and then let's do a little bit more. Again, just work your way up with this exercise. It could be a couple seconds at a time. Awesome job. Making your way up and over to a wall. Hands at chest height. Walk those feet back so you're in a nice plank. And we're lifting the knee right in line with the shoulder using the muscles in the front of the hip. We're doing beginning mountain climbers. You're going to feel some work in those shoulders. And again, if this is too easy for you, try one of those other straighten, strengthen videos, either one or two, and we'll do full mountain climbers. Breathing. That knee should come right in line with your shoulder, not out like a frog, not in towards your belly button. Feet should be nice and straight. Awesome job. Making your way onto your hands and knees, stacking your hips over your knees, a fist width in between them, stacking your shoulders over your wrists, shoulder width apart, arching your back towards the sky, and letting your belly relax and hips roll forward. Cats and dogs. Do a gentle range of motion, both directions. Use your abs to arch into the cat. Use the muscles in the front of the hips to roll that pelvis forward as you come into the dog, letting those shoulder blades collapse together, gently looking up in the dog if that feels good. Comfortable breathing. Just make sure you're not holding your breath. Coming to a standing position, feet hip width apart, curling your fingertips to finger pads, ring finger right at your temples, and gently bring your elbows towards one another. They might not make it all the way to touching, and that's fine. And bring them back behind you like you're trying to touch the wall behind you. Nice, gentle range of motion. You can close your eyes and visualize those elbows touching if they're not touching already. And you do not need to go at the speed that I'm going at. You can slowly build up to this number and this range of motion. In the beginning, you might only be able to get those elbows about 6 inches apart, and that is fine. Again, we're not trying to cause any pain or discomfort. Muscle fatigue, totally fine in this exercise, but no pain. Great job. Final exercise. We're going to sit on something so our knees are at least at 90 degrees. Feet hip width apart, which is a little more than a fist in between those big toes. And you are going to come up from that seat just a little bit, and you're going to press your low back flat and into the wall. So if you reach your hand back there, your hand should not be able to slide under that low back. Toes are turned nice and straight. Your ankle bone is a little bit in front of your knee bone from the side view, so it's not at a perfect 90-degree angle. And you should feel some work in your quads. Again, it doesn't matter if you start with 3 seconds or if you can do the full time in this exercise. You can take breaks. The beauty of having the block or a chair with the back turned sideways is you can take a break by just sitting down, and then when you're ready, you can start again by pushing that low back into the wall, and your butt will be just barely off of whatever surface you're using. Shoulders relaxed, neck relaxed, head and upper body don't have to be touching the wall. Again, the most important thing is that low back is nice and flat into the wall. All right, see how you feel.